Okay, I'd like to call to order the Wednesday, August 13th, 2025 meeting of the Tenino Planning Commission. Let the record show that all commissioners are present. Let's take a look at the minutes from our July meeting.
Can I propose some changes to these minutes?
Yep.
Okay, a couple, I think it's just one thing I noted. I think the motion last time to approve the minutes was made by Commissioner Rounsley per the usual arrangement.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
Okay.
I don't think you
I'll
made
make
it.
sure I watch
No,
it.
I wouldn't have made it.
Because I can't hear who's who that is.
Mhm.
So I'll make sure I watch the
Good-
videos
good
before I
catch.
see if I can see it. Yeah.
No, it's all good. I just, I saw that and I was like,
It's like you two I can't hear as well, and so when you do it, it's a little hard for me.
Gotcha.
got you.
Okay, so.
Other than that, it looked fairly in order to me.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna give it another go.
Yep. I'll move to approve the minutes as amended.
And I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to tonight's agenda.
Can I ask a question about the agenda?
Yep.
Are you discussing item 5?
I don't need to in front
Oh,
of me.
the racially disparate impact, displacement, and exclusion analysis? I'm just curious who's presenting it, because there's no one else here.
Oh, it was just.
Do you have the handout?
Did you just put all of the different things as items? You had 3 things listed. Did you want them set up differently? Yeah, I meant more they were just, and that's my bad, I meant more they were just, information for them, not things that we needed to discuss particularly, but if you want to, we can.
Gotcha. I just wanted to double check. Okay.
No, everything that was sent to you guys was really just an FYI of we have this, and if you want to discuss it, we can.
Gotcha.
The racially disparate impact analysis, really is just making sure that when we're updating the code and also reviewing the old code, that we're, updating policies that could cause displacement or anything like that. And so it just essentially is an analysis of what was and could be.
Gotcha. Thank you. Okay, I'll move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on. No public comment tonight. Do we have any reports? I guess you said Dave's gonna be here a little later. Maybe.
Yeah, he made it sound like he was gonna be here.
Well, maybe you'll have something for us then. No public hearing, unfinished business. Tenino, or draft Tenino comprehensive plan. All right.
So the only thing for the comp plan that I currently have on the table is further discussion from last time of whether or not to keep the underlying zoning for the ag park overlay. Currently it's public, semi-public, and there is the possibility to change it to light industrial during this comp plan update. And a lot of the discussion are permitting limitations to the public, semi-public, so it could limit a lot more than we want. There's also less alignment with infrastructure needs typically, so a lot of times, and I don't know specifically for Tenino, but a lot of times the Public Works Department will kind of review the zoning and the types of roads and infrastructure that goes in on and around certain properties. The zoning can affect that, and so that's what that's talking. That's what that point is talking to. And then there is a perception of restriction because it's public, semi-public, and so that might be concerning to potential tenants. And then, so for changing to light industrial, it does provide greater development flexibility. There is a permitting efficiency as well in that. And then, I didn't really understand this, but my coworker brought it up, was the business-friendly branding, because businesses would prefer to see the light industrial. I think it sounds like a safer choice. And then for cons, there's potential for use creep, shift away from the public use identity, so more towards that private side that might scare people. And then more intense impact standards. Changing the underlying zone would require us to go through the SEPA process. We already have to do that for the comp plan anyway, but it would essentially create a higher impact standard for that zone. And so an environmental impact assessment may be called for. I would say that it'd likely be a declaration of non-significance. So, on the back, there is a cheat sheet for you.
So, what permitting limitations for the cons for keeping it the same? Those don't seem like really that big of a deal, because if we were gonna do the slaughter facility, it would be a conditional use permit also anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
For example.
Yeah, the permitting limitations was really more about those uses, and so like if somebody came in and they wanted to do something that would normally be allowed in light industrial and it's not because public, semi-public doesn't allow for it, then that's a limitation. It's really just speaking to that. We could update the public, semi-public to allow for whatever. I think we're kind of bypassing that with the ag park overlay.
Right.
But we want to make sure that that ag park overlay isn't too comprehensive either, because it is an overlay, and so we want to make sure that if the city council or you guys decide to either expand that overlay or like another property goes, hey, we really want that overlay applied to us, that it is very easily integrated to its surroundings, and that all of that has to be taken into consideration.
I think you all know where I stand with it, but I just want, I think my preference is option one still. I think the agricultural park overlay will eliminate a lot of the permitting issues that we might be able to get by changing the zoning. We're gonna do an agricultural park overlay anyway, so personally to me, it feels extensive to go through the whole zoning process or rezoning process to change to light industrial when we're going to do the ag park overlay. Obviously, the ag park overlay will look different if it's light industrial versus if it's public, semi-public, because we're just bridging the gap one way or the other to get to what we want anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, as I shared last time, my preference is it is a city-owned facility that is administered through a long-term agreement with the EDC. So I think switching to light industrial, although potentially is more brand friendly, I think all of the work that is done to get tenants is all marketing anyway. So I think you can share that story one way or the other. So my preference would be to move forward with option 1 rather than option 2.
I like option 1 too. The potential for use creep is enough of a problem for me to stick with option 1, honestly. We're going to do the overlay anyway. It's going to define what we want to have happen out there. It is a public facility, so anybody who would be looking to move in there is going to be taking advantage of that aspect of the project, the publicly owned stuff, publicly developed stuff with public money. You don't want to have it turn into just like an industrial park or something in 10 years.
I know it's very new, but I'm assuming that we haven't lost any potential business or any potential like user group
Not
because
that
of
I
its
know.
current zoning. Is that correct?
I think that Aslan would probably
Huh?
say that we have, but
Okay.
the EDC
Yeah.
gentleman, he kind of does like a lot of the marketing and discussions with
Yeah.
everybody. I think there's some concern that, well, there is some concern that he's presented to the city in regard to, like right now, there's a business that does like mushroom growing.
Mm-hmm.
And they do everything out of like a kind of like a trailer,
Mhm.
not like an RV trailer, but one of those, you know,
Mhm.
like huge
Like a
shipping
container.
containers.
Yeah.
And right now, under the public semi-public, it's not allowed. So it is something that we could cross with the ag park overlay if that's something that we would want to do.
Mhm.
But that would be the.
If that's how it's normally done, wouldn't it make sense to allow that for that purpose? I mean, it's more about the type of uses for me. Like, if they want to do mushrooms, I don't care if they want to put a you know, a container over there. Although I don't know why they wouldn't, you know, take advantage of the buildings. But I guess if that's how it's done, you know, I don't know. But we could address, you know, being able to use containers in the overlay, so it doesn't necessitate the light industrial zoning to me.
So, and that's my main, so this is my main concern with keeping it public, semi-public versus changing to a light industrial.
Mhm.
I'm not sure we want that area to develop into a sheet metal fabrication facility, right?
Yeah.
Like to keep it with the agriculture theme, and develop those kind of businesses in the area. So in that respect, public, semi-public makes a lot of sense. But if I want to be very clear that the ag overlay is going to solve all of these problems, because I don't want to start this process and then somebody comes along with, like you were just talking, a mushroom growing facility that they happen to run out of a shipping container right now. I mean, you know,
Mhm.
hopefully long term you're looking at like putting it in a warehouse or something, but at the moment operating it in a shipping container, and we've just basically turned away the development of their business into something that could be bigger because we were afraid of opening up to light industrial.
Well, I don't
Do you know what I'm
that-
saying?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sure that the ag overlay will solve all of our problems.
Sure.
Mm.
I think we don't know what we don't know is
That's
going
right.
to
Yeah,
come.
yeah.
So like we could potentially have done all of this and then in 3 months they'd be like, oh, we want to grow mushrooms out of shipping container. I also think it's a little bit more complex than a shipping container, because I think I've heard of what they're trying to do and it looks like a shipping container, but it's a little fancier than that. But I think those are also parts of the aspect of this that it's like, in my feeling, the whole selling point of the egg park is it's for the benefit of the agricultural community, aka the public. So like by sticking to public and having, even if it is sometimes more of an administrative hoop, there is still that checks of like, okay, the whole goal of all of the dollars that were spent by city, state, federal were for the public. Like, I think, in my opinion, I'm okay with that. But also, like, we don't know what we don't know. And
Yeah.
all those things can be updated later.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest thing too is that remembering that the ag park overlay is not optional. Like anybody who would want to go into the ag park, they would have to abide by both. They have to abide by the underlying zoning and the overlying zoning. We can make exclusionary policies for the underlying zoning. So if we keep this public, semi-public, and we want to allow for containers with ag-related uses, then absolutely write in that language. That's not difficult. But just making sure that you're understanding that the uses in light industrial aren't going to necessarily all be like the sheet metal, right? That's not an ag like thing. And so it wouldn't be allowed in that area, just like a lot of like even in our historic district, right? There's a lot of uses and facade things that are very, very stringent, and you can't just go and paint it bright pink, things like that. So it's the same concept, but at the ag park.
Can I get some clarification on that? So the overlay would work with either option, and either it's creating exemptions so that they can do more industrial activity on a public location, or it's putting specifications on a light industrial zone so that it fits within the parameters of the agricultural park and theme. Is that what I'm hearing? It could do either one of those
That's
depending on
right.
what it overlays?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, option one gives exemptions, where option two gives restrictions.
Yeah, and then my second question is, if we keep it public now, but then over the course of time, if there's enough evidence to determine that light industrial would actually further the purpose and mission of the property, that could be happen at a later date, the change.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
We're allowed to update
Thank
our
you.
comp plan once a year.
Got it. Great.
One, I think your question also gets to something that we talked a lot about last time, is like, if we're keeping the public semi-public, then it's allowing more to happen through the ag overlay, where if we're just switching to light industrial, then we're just letting anything happen and then creating restrictions.
Yeah.
And I think, to the point of we don't know what we don't know, I'm personally more in favor of creating exemptions, because a list of exemptions can always be increased, where if we start off with very restrictive and we accidentally allow something that we didn't know was going to happen, once
Yeah.
it happens, you can't restrict it. So if a sheet metal company comes in and says, we're building sheet metal for, I don't know, barns, all hypothetical, that may have not been something that we wanted, and potentially with keeping it public, semi-public, that was something that would have been harder to come through the process.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Okay.
I don't think the perception of a restriction is a bad thing necessarily for option one. I think that's okay, kind of,
Mhm.
because there are some, and we want businesses that are gonna conform to the dream of the site, the dream that we sold everybody when we got all the public dollars to build it.
Mhm.
I want to just add real quick that for me, going to get like a sandwich there, I've gone twice now. Part of the appeal is that it isn't like a free for all, like, you know, the way that, or the perception is that it isn't a free for all, that it's like this thing we're sort of incubating, and the state is sort of stepping in and saying, like, we're going to help these small businesses that have this focus. And I think sort of like going in the other direction as far as branding, marketing, appeal, there is an appeal to that because it's so rare. And like the Olympia Farmers Market, and there's like these sort of collections of things where it's like the co-ops, Yelm and Olympia, where there's like this feeling of whether or not it's like, you know, encoded into the actual organization, there's this feeling that it's like the people are powering it, or there's some kind of like buy-in collectively. And I think that there is like reason to believe that there would be, you know, appeal that way, sort of counter to big business having this, you know, appeal of less restriction or less, you know. So like, yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely leaning towards option one, for sure.
Well, I guess I will move to recommend option one be incorporated and moved forward.
Do we need to have a vote on that?
Do you want to vote? Okay.
You know, it's just giving me direction.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I'm new. I'd like to read the agricultural overlay, what it is currently, and
Do we have that language available?
It was in your packet last.
I can probably get it and have homework to read it, but I'd be curious about that. Okay. And then I think the other thing that I'm curious about, this is me with fresh, so if you guys have already talked about this, please let me know. But
Oh, that's good.
what's the part of light industrial that is appealing to potential?
It just allows for more variety of uses and like visual looks. So
Okay.
like the containers kind of question, stuff like that.
I see.
Less hurdles and red tape to have to go through the city for, is that
Yeah.
correct?
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Which would be, I mean, it would be attractive to somebody who's got a small
Thank you.
business, I get
Oh
that.
wow, so helpful.
The other thing I was thinking of too is like if
And that's
If-
not
if-
set in stone, so if you want
Yeah.
to like give a suggestion.
if it's something that like ends up being hindrance to the point where the public project is failing because we're not attracting business, what's to stop either like us from changing it on the fly, which we already know can happen, or like I feel like in other cases that I've seen like this, the industry always kind of swoops in and says this is a chance for us, right? Like it sort of inevitably ends up being a private venture down the
Mhm.
road over some period of time. So why not try this other way first? But yeah, that's kind of like big picture, I guess.
Yeah, and you know, the more we talk about it, I'm not sure I see a massive downside to keeping it public, semi-public for now. So long as we maintain the open mind of, if we have the EDC come to us and go, we've lost out on 4 different potential really great tenants because
Mhm.
we don't have the ability to do X, Y, and Z, and they don't want to go through the process,
Mhm.
then I think maybe we readdress it ASAP when we hear that.
I think I agree with you. Now that I'm looking at this, one of the things that some of these goals could be hindered by the potential cons of the light industrial, which is like not a cohesive look or an attractive look and feel that you can come to. For example, like educational centers, or like farmers markets, or just like the restaurant that's there already. I think being a little bit stricter on how it visually develops would aid a chunk of these things that have been identified as goals for that place. And also, our county is known for agro-tourism. It's one of the highlights of the county to want to be a part of that, right? So if you keep the visual look and feel and you kind of get a bit stricter with that, that I think ultimately adds to the desirability of people to come and experience something there,
Yeah.
which I think is part of the goal.
It's also a relatively small amount of land
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
all things considered, so
Mhm.
that's something to consider too. It's not like it's, 60 acres, it's, I think, 11.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's also
Thank you.
important to
Sharing
note
this with me.
that neither of these like both of these options would be implemented when the comp plan is approved. So essentially January 1, this is when both of these options would be able to be implemented, and then we would have a year of it being implemented before we could adjust it at the next annual update. So we have a year's time of, okay, if you say it's a hindrance, give us some information, and then we can, like you said, have the discussion of, okay, we can update it to adjust.
Yeah.
And frankly, we don't have a long track record out there yet.
No.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot to look at of, you know, what's possible and what people are willing to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
out there. So,
It's also important to note that development regulations don't have to wait for that year, so to update the zoning or the comprehensive plan map, that then we would have to reevaluate. So if we wanted to rezone it and we're like, actually, you know what, light industrial makes a lot more sense, that we would have to wait for. Updating the development regulations and the zoning designation and adding things or taking things away, that's a relatively straightforward process. So it might, I mean, it usually takes anywhere from 2 to 4 months, but it is relatively straightforward, and we don't have to wait for that annual, that once a year time.
That's good to know.
Is there anything in the overlay now that would prevent someone from doing the container business that was proposed, or as an
No.
idea?
I think that the only thing, it's in the underlying zone, it's in the public, semi-public. So it does say design guidelines, it says, 1, site design should integrate agricultural operations with educational research and innovation uses. 2, buildings should utilize agricultural or rural architectural styles to maintain compatibility with surrounding rural and agricultural character, and sustainable design practices, including energy efficient buildings, water conservation, low impact development techniques are encouraged. So that's not required, it's just encouraged. But the first two, the buildings should be utilized for agricultural or rural architectural styles. So it would just essentially, and in planner speak, the building that's already out there, they, like, if they were going to build an actual building, not just like a trailer or something, then we would want it to look somewhat like that other building, right?
Mhm.
So you don't wanna go out there and it looks completely different, and you're like, oh, that looks weird.
The container's not a permanent structure anyways, right?
It depends on that's a building code question, so
Yeah.
typically I don't think so, but, technically, for the last time I recall, this question being presented in another jurisdiction is it's not on wheels, so it's a permanent structure. But some jurisdictions say that,
The amount of hookups.
some say that it has to be hooked up, some say that it has to be on like foundational blocks, in order to be considered a permanent structure. So I'd have to talk to our building department. I don't know for sure what they would, but I can put that as a note.
Well, I guess we wanna make sure that they're able to do the ideas that are currently out there, at least, even though we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, those ideas have been proposed, so.
But
It-
what would happen if, like, let's say they wanted to propose this, what would the process go? Who would they ask, or what would their process be for any business trying to get a space in the park?
So, it goes through the planning department typically first, so
Okay.
they'll submit a site plan as to what they wanna do. But really, because the way that everything's set up is they generally would talk to probably the mayor and EDC first to say, okay, is this viable? And then, they contact me usually to see if it's actually viable via our code, and then they would go through the permitting process, and that includes a site plan review, zoning, designation review, making sure that everything's actually compliant, and then depending from there, they might have to go through like the conditional use process or something like that. But it essentially,
Okay, cool, yeah, I was just curious.
I think it would be interesting to find out about permanent versus non-permanent structures, and also like mobile structures or mobile businesses. I'm thinking about mobile shearers. I know that sounds strange, but
Like
like
sheep.
like sheep shearers, they have mobile shearing, like vans or like giant trailers.
They don't usually stick around though, because they
Yeah.
usually travel from farm to farm.
Yeah, but there's an education one. This is me pulling it out of the back of my brain, but in the central Washington, they have a school that teaches people how to shear, and that could be something that could come to the ag park, but what does that look like, right? So
Yeah.
there's these like, I guess, tangential questions of not just developing the permanent building structures and like having established businesses, but does the overlay allow for creative use or creative proposals, or I don't know, something
I
like that.
think I also fall into this weird feeling of the egg park is already starting to be developed, so like part of me wants it to continue with the fashion that it's looking.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Because
Fair.
like I also am not necessarily wanting it to become this is a analogy, but like I don't want it to look like it's a mini storage either.
Yeah.
So like I also have that balance of like, if it doesn't fit the aesthetic and the goals, then maybe it could be a great opportunity, but maybe it's not right for the whole goal of the ag park.
I like your idea though. Like, I feel like but I feel like it's kind of like an event planning thing where it's like,
It's just a question, yeah.
like if like people organizing, whoever wants to do that or whoever is running the event planning part of, there's like that event space on the end where they have like the comedy show
Yeah.
and the dinner. I didn't get a chance to go to that, but it looked cool.
There's a wildfire in Rainier.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, okay, I remember that.
Yeah, I just heard on my phone it's like 30 acres now or something.
Oh, no.
That blew up.
Yeah.
And that's right near us.
Right
Yeah,
here,
Wow.
it's
like
Military
8 minutes
Road.
away.
It's miles away, but yeah, Military Road and 138th is where it started.
Relatively near us.
Ah.
Oh, really? So outside of town?
Oh, not
At that
far.
intersection there?
It's
where
outside Rainier.
Road, where Rainier Road and Military meet?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that spot.
Yeah.
It's
They
it's like
evacuated
just
part of the
past
military road.
In the prairie?
the Art Park Road,
Oh, yeah.
Baldrick. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, out by
Okay.
like the transfer station.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. We got every single phone at work blew up with the alert when it happened. So they went from 100 square feet to 5 acres in like 5 minutes.
Nice.
Oh, no.
Wow.
It was pretty windy.
It
wasn't
was really
Yeah.
windy. Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. Oh, never mind.
So what about the the first or second point about the design standards for the buildings? We were talking about how the container may not fit in with that or that kind of thing. Is that building out, I'm not a design person, is that building out there agriculturally designed in some way that makes it seem like an agriculture building? I mean, shouldn't it be more in line with the existing structures than like some ethereal agricultural style building? I don't know what that even is really, honestly. I mean,
Yeah, it seems like a buzzword almost.
Like, how would
Yeah.
you interpret that? I guess. Is
yeah,
the question.
that's a good question.
I would look at the existing structure.
Yeah.
honestly.
I feel like,
We could just change it to existing, utilize existing styles on the property.
Since we already have a building, I mean,
Yeah.
that makes more sense to me.
and that
mean-
kind of helps people see if they can achieve it or not. Like there are towns out there that have their own font or they have their own color palette,
Yeah.
Well,
and
and
it
I
kind of
get-
helps kind of clarify.
Sorry, I didn't-
Oh no, you're good.
My thought in regard to at least the container thing is like if they're not allowed to have containers and they want to and they want to be out there, potentially they could offer to do some sort of like not like actual building, but you know the RV parks and stuff, a lot of times they'll have like a cover
Oh, yeah.
structure.
Oh
Sure.
yeah.
Potentially like they could ask
Like a
something that.
carporty kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just be like, hey, like, if we make it, look nice, or I don't know, there's a restaurant in Lacey that has a taco truck inside it, right? Like, you could just
Right.
put it in a building and
Yeah.
see if that works. I don't know. But just to say that, people do and can get creative with following the rules and being in compliance. So it's not a completely limiting factor, but I think, what we're really considering is that initial like bite. We're trying to get them on the hook of like, okay, we really wanna be there,
potentially do a disservice to the businesses that are already there. Because there's an event center
Yeah.
and a restaurant, and that's, you know, the look and feel of the place will impact their business.
There are lots that they like are going like assigned essentially.
Yeah.
So they only have so much space, and they do still have to, regardless of even if the containers were allowed, right?
Yeah.
They would still have to abide by all the setbacks and rules and regulations for having them on the property. So they could only have theoretically so much, and I think the height limit is like 35 feet, but still, like, doesn't look great. So that's just something to consider.
Those buildings that are out there already, I mean, I suppose, maybe just because I was in one the other day, like, they're built out in such a way to fit whatever business is in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that it's just a general structure, and then you build out the space kind of how you want it.
We're not really considering the already built one, so like businesses will go into the little individual areas, that's gonna be really straightforward. We're really talking about, or at least what I'm really talking about is the space that's outside of that. There's like 3 or 4 other lots
Yeah.
that don't have any buildings on them.
Right, but the
And-
buildings will need to fit the same pattern as the buildings that are there. They'll need to maintain a similar character, correct?
Character, yes, not pattern necessarily, so it won't have to be built out to be, you know, allow multiple different uses because it's being built for that one individual use, but architecturally, it'll need to look similar.
Right, yeah, so, but I mean, as a structure, I guess what I'm saying is it's essentially a hollow shell. You do what you want with the inside.
Yeah.
Right.
essentially.
But they don't have,
Well, they're building it.
yeah, they have to, if I understand, they would have to follow like the color patterning and like kind of the accented look, but they don't have to build the same identical building. But also those 2 buildings are not identical. And then they can put whatever they want inside the building however they want. And the outside of the building doesn't have to look identical to the other buildings.
Yeah.
It just has
just
enough
looks
aesthetic to
character.
tie it in.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have to look like siblings.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's like going into a neighborhood, and, cause this is actually really common in a lot of jurisdictions, especially in like historical districts. But everything, like every house, right, built in the 1950s, looks like it was built in the 1950s. Then you have an empty lot, somebody builds a super modern, very square, that house is going to stick out, right?
Mhm.
But if somebody came in and they built a newer version that was similar to the 1950s style, then it might look updated, but it's not going to look completely different. That's what we're really looking for, of making sure that, like, it just doesn't look like it's, you know, we don't want an Adobe structure out there that looks like it came from New Mexico, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, and I also feel like in this public-private nonprofit partnership that is the Ag Park, if the EDC goes through all this work with the city and with a private investor, and they're like, here is how we think it ties in, I feel like that's going to carry weight too. Like if they come and they say, here's the proposal, here's what the building's gonna look like, I also think it's in the EDC's best interest to make the aesthetic. So I feel like some of those worries won't necessarily carry as much, but the shipping containers does have a, like, that I think is the sticking point for the aesthetic. So,
We could also have the EDC come in here at some point and detail kind of what they're looking at. That would be
Yeah.
probably helpful as well.
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that.
they weren't able to make it tonight.
I think that what it sounds like is that, it sounds, at least to me, it sounds like we need more data points and information to see whether the light industrial is actually a better option.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's worth just keeping it the same for now, and then invite the EDC to kind of talk more.
Mhm.
And then just note that because we're keeping it the way it is, we need to be careful about the exemptions. that we offer through the agricultural overlay to make sure that it's not hamstringing potential participants. Is that right? I think that's,
Has the EDC seen the proposed ag overlay, regardless of the underlying zone?
I believe Aslan has a copy of the zoning designations, but I'll send it to him.
If he doesn't have it, I mean, I think that would be pretty useful information. He
Yeah,
can,
I'm gonna send it.
he would know better than we would about what's been proposed or what he's trying to
Yeah.
attract or
Yeah.
the limitations of that overlay. Because
Yeah.
I don't want it to not meet the need.
Yeah.
yeah.
One part of this seems silly to say it this way, but like part of the EDC's job is economic development marketing. So whether we stay public, semi-public, or move to light industrial, they're gonna have to market it regardless.
Yeah.
So you just market it as the ag overlay allows you to do this, or the ag overlay doesn't allow you to do this. So,
Yeah, the underlying zoning doesn't mean as much at that point.
yeah.
So-
But again, like, we kind of can get around kind of what the EDC is looking at, but we would need to have them tell us
Yeah.
specifically what the issue is and
Yeah.
what they're coming up against and why this is a problem in the marketing,
Yeah.
before we make an educated
Right.
decision.
Even if it is
So,
a problem.
I think,
Anything that's not outright allowed, like in like an obvious sense, would come to you guys anyway, cause it would go through a conditional use permit.
yeah. So, I'm,
Yeah.
I am more swayed to the perspective of leaving it as it is and then addressing in the future.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
like
we need-
maybe, you know, I don't know how we signal this, but letting whoever know that we're curious and open and, you know, not calcified. We're trying to like do what's best for everybody and
I think
I-
just telling Aslan that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just telling the EDC and saying, hey,
yeah.
we like all ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come tell us any idea you
Yeah,
got.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, the problems that they're having now, there is no ag park overlay at all. So like,
Yeah.
they may say, we're having this issue, and we say, okay, we'll solve it this way.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
Exactly.
Well, and if we have any actual like specific concerns, I think I heard like the concern is like scope creep, right? Also asking them like what's your proposed solution or what are your ideas around this topic as well, specifically to help.
Mhm. Cool.
I sent him copy of the zoning designations.
Great.
That's the one that you saw. I think all you guys saw it last time.
yeah.
But other than that, do you wanna talk about the climate? I don't remember which one of you.
Yeah.
If we're ready for that.
We all look the same.
Okay, and I've completely neglected to bring my climate section with me tonight, so, but I've got all of the notes for the sections that I wanna talk about, and then replacing them, and I wrote down just a brief blurb of the policy from, oh, awesome. A brief blurb of the policy that I think may be better to replace it with, based on what Commerce has on their website. And as I was going through, I made sure that the policies that I was swapping back and forth fit the same parameters that they were initially trying to solve. It doesn't mean that I'm perfect with it, thank you very much. But I've got a general idea of kind of what the change could be. Okay. Let's see here. What's my first one? I think so. Policy. Okay. Oh wait. Sorry.
And you're not talking the climate objectives, because those were going to
No.
be updated.
Yes. I'm not talking. I'm
Okay.
not talking anything that was in the chart at all.
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
talking about these.
The goals and policies.
Goals
perfect.
specifically.
Okay.
Sorry. Can you say that again? They're totally up in the air and.
lately at your guys' will.
Goals and policies
Yeah.
and actions.
And that's why I looked at them and I was like,
Yeah.
if I can do whatever I want with these,
Just a heads up, the Tenino High School has just been opened as a shelter for the fire.
Okay,
Oh,
good
wow.
to know.
cool.
Sorry.
No, that's good. That's good to know. Okay.
Can't see it.
It's so windy
I'm looking
outside,
that
it's kinda
direction
crazy.
like,
You can see it?
No, but it would be
It would be right over there, yeah.
there,
yeah.
Weird.
Okay, to be fair, when we say right over there, it's not
It's
right
miles,
over there.
miles,
Yeah,
miles.
you're fine.
yeah. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
in town.
Yeah.
I'm not worried
No.
about
Oh
it.
yeah,
No,
you
no,
don't have to
no.
be that worried.
They've come a lot closer. I'm just curious because I am a very little bit of a pirate.
It's probably like four
so-
or 5 miles away. or
Yeah,
so.
it's a ways away.
I think we can still see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
depending on the wind.
Yeah. I was just hoping to see the smoke.
Okay, policy,
Okay.
whatever.
So I'm only really married to a couple of these ideas, so feel free to shoot back at whatever you don't like. Okay. Okay. So GG 7.1. This is under ecosystems.
Okay.
Require this. It says require open space set asides. Blah blah blah. Parks. I think for development in Tenino, requiring open spaces could be a little bit problematic for new development, simply because we do have this wonderful, beautiful park in the middle of the city, and everybody has access to it. And I mean, I'd love to see more walking paths to get there, but that is a development goal of a different kind. So I don't think we necessarily need this one, and I'd like to replace it with the choose native drought and pest resistant plants when planting. So that's policy U.05 on the Commerce website.
Oh.
Oh, I was
do
like, where
that
did you
one.
get that? Yeah,
I do like that.
Yeah.
The one the one thing that comes to my mind, the neighborhood, the newest neighborhood over there. What is that called by Mima Acres?
Oh,
So they did open space,
what is it called?
and it's like a kids' playground that
Yeah.
no one ever
Oh, it's
uses.
right
that's
by-
in the front.
yeah.
one that's
Yeah.
like 2 feet from
It's
the
really-
road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The most token playground anyone's ever added to a development.
Well, and
Yeah.
I don't think that was part of their HOA, and I don't think it's part of their HOA anymore. I think they,
Oh.
Yes, they
I
were.
think-
Well, they were trying to get the city to take it, right?
yeah, yeah,
Because they didn't want to maintain it.
right.
I think in other cities, it's about walkability to a park, which this town has no problem with. Like, if you can say, like, people can have a green space in under a mile from
Mhm.
wherever they are, it
Yeah.
seems like it would work just fine.
Yeah. I mean, if we get to the point where walkability is an issue,
Mm.
we can readdress it at that point. Okay, so if everybody's cool with that one, the next one is policy 7.2, maximize tree canopy coverage in surface parking lots. Again, we don't have all that many surface parking lots
Mm-hmm.
at this time. So I would like to see that one replaced with prevent invasive species and enhance native plants. That's on the Commerce website. That's policy U.07.
Mm-hmm.
I personally feel like we keep the policy
Yeah.
just because there is a desire for more parking downtown. Like there's
Mhm.
the parking lot behind the Eagles,
Mm-hmm.
or not, you know where I'm talking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not green space in that, but there are several like stormwater ponds that are required. But I think
Mm-hmm.
tree canopy is something that is being talked about a lot in the effort to cool down spaces. So
Mhm.
if we do move to having more parking lots, I think we should work towards maintaining heat control.
Yeah, I think that it's worth keeping tree canopy as a priority because you just want to avoid having that heat island effect where you walk
Yes.
into something and it gets super hot because it's not good for people and it's also not good for the landscape in general.
We could
So.
combine them to, say essentially like maximize tree canopy coverage in surface parking lots, prioritizing, retaining that native vegetation.
Sure.
That sounds
Yeah,
good.
this is one of those that I
Yeah,
wasn't
we don't
totally
have to
married to, but
remove one
Yeah.
to replace, to add
No.
yours, I mean,
Yeah,
necessarily.
you could add it
That's how
too.
you're selling it a little bit, but.
no, that's not what I intended. There are a couple of these that I will say, like, this one really needs to go, and like, I don't, even if we don't replace it, this one needs to go.
None of these are, the first one says require, but these are not requirements. I mean, these are just goals.
Yeah, they're not in the development regulations, and so therefore they're not.
So can we just strike everywhere it says require and just replace that with a softer word like encourage or something like that? I mean, cause they're not requirements, right? So,
But
We can, but it's meant to be more of like a.
it's a visioning. So
Yeah.
it's like
yeah,
when the council goes to do something in the future, this should be their guiding document. So
Yeah.
Kind
Right.
of puts it as a higher priority.
Yeah.
okay.
So encourage is kind of like a low priority, like, okay, yeah, we should really kind of go for that. Require is like a, hey, like, we actually want this to happen.
Yeah.
But that means you have to do it.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily.
But you don't have to do it.
Because it's not in the development regulations,
I see.
then, because it, in the planning world, what I see is, I see, okay, when I go to update the development regulations, at the request of the city council, this is in our comp plan.
Mhm.
So it says to require, which just means that I need to put it in the development regulations as long as the city council still agrees that that's something that we wanna see.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
that's all that it essentially just tells me that it needs to be in our development regulations
I see.
in the future.
Okay.
I think that it says over here in health and well-being, it says increase tree canopy and access to green spaces to reduce urban heat. That feels very tied to these two. I think that
Mhm.
maybe we could keep that one and buffer it up, and then you could switch those out for the ones you suggested.
A lot of
Similar,
these,
Very similar.
when you start looking through like their policies, they're all very similar. It's like a restatement of the same 5 things over and over again.
yeah.
And so it's kind of, it's, some of this, a couple of these things are just like, that could be interesting to swap these out. But then there's, we'll get to one in the future that I'm like, I don't like. It's banning gas powered equipment.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
I don't wanna ban gas powered equipment. So,
We talked about that.
Well, and
last time.
yeah, we did talk about
to
that.
talk about requiring, not to jump in, but like GG 2.3, it says require new subdivisions, bury electricity transmission lines and associated infrastructure. Like we talked about that last time, like
Mhm.
that is the best way to do it.
Mhm.
So like that one is a good one to have the word require, cause
Yes, I like that.
then
It's
the
true.
concept of the council developing or acknowledging that and then actually implementing that is high priority.
But we like that for multiple reasons,
Yes.
right? It's
Yeah.
more, it's a
Yeah.
little bit more safe if it's not overhead, being caught in trees,
Yep.
and it's
Mhm.
less of an eyesore when you have things stringing all over town, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So, okay, so the next one is, let's see.
Tell us how you really feel.
Oh, I know, believe me, I went over this one night, I spent an hour and a half on this.
Proud of you.
Good job.
Oh yeah, so GG 8.3, so just to reduce emissions from emergency evacuations and disaster-related transportation through efficient, multimodal, and low-carbon options. If I'm leaving because of a fire or other natural disaster, I don't care if that sucker is diesel and putting something out in the environment that's toxic. I'm getting out, and I want other people to get out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
a little bit of a, listen,
That one is kind of.
this, it made me like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
So I said, replace that with a comprehensive wildfire resilience plan.
Isn't that in there?
It should, I think it is.
I think it's already in there.
Is it, I just looked for another
Mhm.
planning bit that would fit all of the check boxes that Commerce wants you to hit.
Mm.
So it's gotta fit under emergency management and also, whatever the other, what is this? Greenhouse gas mitigation.
Mm-hmm. It might be worth looking into seeing if the city's emergency vehicles could be encouraged to be replaced when they need to be replaced with carbon efficient options. Like that might be the
Yeah.
thing where it's like if we have police vehicles, replace them with carbon efficient electric vehicles. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
or if we, like, you
Yeah,
could
that
just
is pretty
say
good.
over time when what
Yeah.
is in our control, city vehicles
Replace.
can be replaced with carbon efficient options.
Right.
Priorities.
Yeah, the
I
way
don't
it's
know.
worded initially here is like,
It's like, what are you
when the
talking about?
emergency's happening, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
choose a hybrid.
Yeah.
Pick the right one, yeah. Take a bike.
Yeah.
That's
To get
why,
out of
that's
town.
why it hit me, that's why it hit me.
Drive or
Yeah.
Prius, I don't know.
I'm not gonna get the train to stop for me.
But if we, yeah,
Yeah.
if we have emergency vehicles that we can, you know, reallocate, that makes more sense.
So replace city-owned vehicles as vehicles come out of commission, because we don't want to
Yeah.
replace them ahead of time,
Yes,
with.
whatever it says.
Low carbon options.
Efficient, low carbon
high
options.
efficiency.
And I think that makes a lot of sense, especially for like, you know, public works vehicles and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because they're going a very short distance
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. I mean,
And-
police vehicles, they do have to service probably a larger area because of the mutual aid agreements that we have with
Yes.
the county and things like that, and the different needs that the police have versus public works. I mean, public
Do
works.
we have mutual aid agreements
Yeah.
out that extend our
Yes.
police service outside? Where is
Yes.
that?
So it's right outside, basically right outside the city, if we can get there first, and
Oh.
it's a high enough priority call,
Sure.
from my understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
We're
would
right
go.
outside the city.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, most
We're
of
not
these-
driving to Rainier anymore or Bucota.
Well, if there was a high enough emergency,
Yeah.
we'd probably do that.
yeah.
Because of those agreements, but it wouldn't be like someone's, how, this sound, no. I was gonna say someone's house on
It's
fire,
within
but I
the
don't know.
range of an electric vehicle,
I mean,
perhaps.
they have
Getting
like
there and back.
300 miles
Yeah.
in them, so I think it would be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that, yeah, this statement doesn't make sense to me, but it would make sense to like
The county's
prioritize.
fleet
I like that, yeah.
services are already kind of doing that, like our assessor's office just got a couple hybrids,
Yeah,
so.
Mhm.
City of Olympia is doing the same thing.
The
And
state's
they
doing
even
that.
have electric trucks and they have electric, like, they have big work vehicles that are
Yeah.
electric too. Pretty
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah. Are we good on that one?
Yep.
Okay. RE 1.2 and 1.3 are exactly the same.
1.3.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Agriculture and food resilience, agriculture, food
Oh.
systems,
Yeah.
RE
This is
1.2 and 1.3 are exactly the same.
Oh, I love that.
So,
Delete.
Oh.
yeah,
Oh.
we could.
It
I-
happens because I copy and paste that, so all the fonts is correct and all the formatting is correct, and then I update. There it
Yeah.
is, that one.
So, yeah, I just noted that, you could replace one with increased conservation technical assistance for soil health and organics.
Mm.
Yeah, I like that.
Because it's an assistance to people who are growing organic
Yeah.
or
Say that
other
again.
sorts of material. So it's AH.01 is what it was referenced as in commerce, but it's increased conservation technical assistance for soil health and organics.
For soil health and organics by partnering with.
Soil Conservation District.
Yeah,
There
the
you go.
conservation
Yep.
group, they do soil
You knew
testing.
exactly where I was going with that.
I think that's great.
Oh.
Now I can spell partnering. Okay. Is it the Thurston, or is it just the?
It's just the
soil-
Thurston Conservation
Okay.
District.
Yeah.
Thurston Conservation District. Cool.
Okay, next one, RE 2.2. Promote the sale and use of this is what the thing says. Promote the sale and use of agricultural supplies, pesticides, fertilizers, and fuels that are not derived from fossil fuels. Okay, I mean, it's a neat goal, but a lot of the agriculture industry is built around the utilization of these things for efficiency. So I don't wanna say that we should eliminate their use entirely. But what I thought was, we could replace that with, help local growers capitalize on sustainable business opportunities. That fits in with the ag park better.
You wanted
Yeah.
to replace 2.2 or 2.1?
2.2.
Okay, so what's
And 2.1. I want to do 2.1 as
Yeah,
well.
don't worry, he'll get
I'll
to
get there.
2.1.
Yeah.
Well, I knew that one, that's why I was like, wait, which one were you talking about? Cause I knew you didn't like the other one.
Both of these are
We can delete the whole goal. It's an option.
hey, I'm not gonna be opposed to that. I was just gonna say, so for
We don't have the
2.1,
kind of
I
agriculture that
like
requires
I
us
like
to do
the
that much.
You could just say
your
incentivize.
replacement.
Yeah.
I think that that's a really good option for out here.
yeah. And just because of the, and the reason I like that one was just because of the agricultural park and the kind of
Okay.
opportunities that we're already supplying to local growers.
I need you to repeat it to me.
Oh, okay. Help local
Don't.
growers capitalize on sustainable business operations.
Say it again. Hold on. Yeah. I like your idea. Sorry, I like the one that you are adding. I do want to, I think Valerie's also gonna say the same thing. I think I want to adjust the way 2.2 is worded, but not remove it.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'd say incentivize the sale and use of, because if we can find a way to encourage people to use new products that aren't based on fossil fuels, that's not telling them they can't use it. It's saying
Sure.
incentivize, like you get a discount, or you like we make it so that like there's less tax, or like
Provide
you get
a
a
list
little
of-
like I don't know, you encourage
options.
people to use it. Yeah.
I'm
That
not
might
opposed
work.
to that.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to that. I like that.
So incentivize.
Yeah, sorry to throw a wrench in it.
And then.
But
You had netted.
I have it.
2.3 with the other one. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I actually have a also thought on 2.2
Mhm.
to kind of coalesce both ideas. I think it should be focused more on you using it on your yard than farmers using it in their fields.
Mm,
Cause,
yeah.
'cause like nitrogen is farly overused in everyday lawn fertilizing. So like I want people to work towards a better solution.
Yeah.
I like that, actually. There's no agriculture in the city limits anyways.
Yeah.
That would require almost any of those products. I mean, except yards.
Or
Yeah.
teen
Does yards
range.
fit under agriculture?
No.
No, but it's
Okay.
supposed to help like the UGA and the areas around
Yeah.
us, not just by like reducing.
We don't really have any crops like that being grown around. I mean, like, nobody's growing corn or
Yeah.
whatever, something.
But people do put nitrogen to keep their lawns green.
Yes, the
Yeah.
lawn
Yeah.
is the bigger issue.
Yeah, so
for
like
sure.
maybe there could be something about like incentivizing the replacement of lawns with like raised beds or food or something.
No.
Is that so I know that the aquifer is like super close to the ground,
It's like,
and
it
it's
goes
a-
from like 13 to 100 feet.
and that's our
below.
drinking water.
Yes,
And
and our wells are
whatever
in
you put
town,
on your
and-
ground will still filter into there. I hadn't had a chance to fully read the comprehensive plan, but I'm assuming we have like restrictions on people who live in town on what they can like
There's a
slap
wellhead
around their
protection
lawn.
zones,
You're not
but
supposed to technically wash your car in your driveway, but people do.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's what we say, what we ask people not to do, and then what they do, but I don't know, I feel like there's a nexus between protecting the water
yes.
Yeah.
and
I would say. just-
restricting or incentivizing the use of different materials, or like
I'd say either remove it or change it to like lawn maintenance supplies.
Yeah. Yeah. Or educate and incentivize this sale and use of gardening, lawn,
Just make it all inclusive.
mm-hmm.
yeah. Like I don't know what that.
Is that
Perfect
agricultural and
word.
horticultural pieces?
I feel like for the purposes of in town and like residential areas, it would be like landscaping. Would that be?
Oh, landscaping is a
Yeah,
good word.
Yeah,
That's
that
big,
makes
yeah.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Landscaping. So incentivize,
The use of landscaping supplies, pesticides, fertilizers, and fuels that are not derived from fossil fuels, is that?
Yeah.
Can we add the word educate?
yes. Incentivize and. How do we incentivize that?
I don't know. We'll figure it
Yeah.
out.
We can incentivize through educating, so just educate
It's not very specific, but that's good, right? I mean,
educate the
Mhm.
use of.
Yeah. It allows us to be able to create incentives if there's a possibility, either through the businesses that sell them or through,
I was gonna say, like, if we ever get the scripts back, we could, we could, I don't know, have like some business at the ag park that sells like organic, fertilizer,
yeah.
sure, right.
take the scripts or something, I don't know. But that's the idea, right, is like,
Yeah.
Lacey Dunn has free fertilizer sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah,
so like things like that where,
Yeah.
what was the help little workers? Accidentally deleted it.
Help them capitalize on sustainable business opportunities. And then we'll get to 2.1.
2.1.
Y'all know I don't like this one, so we'll just stop with that. Yeah, so remove the phase out of gas powered equipment and then replace that with facilitate or enable regenerative farming opportunities. Now, again, a little bit agriculture stuff for what's within city limits, but if we have, I mean, I like the idea of regenerative agriculture.
Promotes the ag park.
Promotes
Yeah,
the
I
ag
mean,
park.
More ag language is good. We just don't have that much stuff like that in town, but I don't mind it being in there. It sounds good.
Okay. Next.
RE 3.1, we're down to the last three. 3.1, require solar panels on buildings with large rooftops as well as within or over parking areas. Now, you can do a couple things here. You could just say encourage. I'd be fine with encourage. Require is a little strong for me. I said, let's see, increase fire resilience at high-risk sites. That's what I found in Commerce's
What
policies.
does that have to do with solar access?
That's a good question. Maybe my sorting wasn't super great on that one.
What would it look like requiring solar panels? What would that be like? So you would incorporate this into the codes. What would that be like?
It would likely be in some sort of like, okay, if you're gonna build a new building that's over 3,000 square feet, then you have to have solar panels on the top to help mitigate.
So that's what the code would look like based on this goal.
Yeah.
That's not that bad to me. Like,
I don't think that's
We
bad
can
either.
eliminate the parking area, cause I feel like that's more of the concern.
Mhm.
This is like if somebody built a new, like, Walgreens or, you
Yeah.
know, some large building.
Mhm.
Would it make you feel better if it said require solar panels on new construction buildings with large rooftops?
Okay, so I'll just give my general concern and then,
Sure.
and then obviously push back as you feel the need. I think that adding those types of things should, I mean, if you wanna put it on your roof, or if you wanna put it on the roof of your new construction, absolutely go for
pretty much
it.
talking about commercial though.
Yeah.
But we're talking about new construction, people coming into town, they're bringing business, and we're saying, no, you don't get to come into town unless you put a solar panel on your roof,
so I
or
think
a battery of solar panels.
there's sort of like the goal, higher, long, big picture, and then there's sort of like the pragmatic part of this, even mid-range, because the solar industry has taken a huge hit in the last couple years. I mean, we were already importing everything from China, and now that's in flux, whether we're getting incentives and all this stuff. So, like, adding a rule like this becomes cumbersome, just practically speaking, because even getting the inventory to put this in to do this is going to be harder in a year or two than it was this year than it was the year before.
Mhm.
So, like, you're adding layers of constraint. Maybe if we say like incentivize or provide some kind of program, and more than just like, I think it is really important to do this, but like, you know, a lot of times you can, if you have enough solar capacity, you can resell your energy. Maybe we do things to grease the wheels that way, like provide like if you do this on your big building, we will help pay for a battery system or something, or we will help.
Yeah, incentivize
Yeah.
is good. That's the good, that's the key, I think,
That's a good
the word
word.
incentivize.
I also think that there's, making new construction solar ready, so even if they don't buy the panels, making sure that when they design it, the electrical capacity and load is enough for the panels to be an easy addition later on at a different date.
And it doesn't also specify how many like solar panels. And so what I'm thinking is if that does make it to the code, then what would happen is they would have to do like a solar study to make like, to only have to put in what actually makes sense. And historically, Western Washington is not great for solar capacity, so.
That doesn't stop people from stopping by my house at least 5 times every summer to try to get me to put panels on my roof.
They never read the no soliciting signs, so, yeah. Anyway. So I said incentivize new commercial buildings to include solar panels on buildings with large rooftops as well as within or over parking areas. So then they have the option,
Yeah.
of the parking area, which we have seen be effective, or at least I have in other jurisdictions. And it does typically offer shade, whereas on the top of the building, it's not offering shade, it's just, not ugly-ish. Unless you're in a helicopter or something, but,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, and my concern wasn't necessarily the look, it was just the additional requirement
Yeah,
on a builder.
To require that would be so expensive too, like, you're,
Yeah.
I mean, the cost is going up and up because of these incentives
Yeah.
going away, so yeah, it
it's
would-
within or over parking. We can also build, so this should remain generic, but my thoughts in regard to that is we can also, like, if this did make it to development code, right? It made it into the development regulations, we would have this discussion again, and this would likely come up. But we can also say, if the cost for adding solar exceeds 5% of the total building, or like what, that's
Mhm.
arbitrary, but like, you can say that, like, if it exceeds that amount, then it's not required.
okay.
Yeah, they do that in Olympia with,
Yeah. Wait, I've been
with the
there.
armory. There are several requirements of like, if it costs over a certain amount of your project, then you don't have to basically do that retrofitting or that,
Yeah.
update.
Yes.
Cool, I like that.
I am going to be curious to see what this whole document looks like when it's finished, because a lot of the, and yes, they're buzzwords, I do acknowledge, but a lot of the true greenhouse and gas emission reductions that are like very tangible, like phasing out all gas-powered landscaping equipment, have now been replaced with very broad. So, I'm just, well, not all, that is very,
I think
but,
that's why the Department of Commerce really provided such specific language and so many priority, like, goals and policies, because essentially what we do right now for climate plans is we just put all the priority ones in there to see what sticks in each jurisdiction.
Gotcha.
Because Commerce has said on multiple occasions that those are their priority. So they want to see them in comp plans, but they don't have any, like, they can't require it.
Mhm.
And so this is how we're kind of like trying to accommodate that language, because what's gonna happen is after this goes to public hearing and it goes to city council, it's gonna go to a 60-day review at Commerce and other state
Mhm.
agencies, and we're gonna get comments back from them to see what they would like to see. And so essentially we're like, okay, well, we're gonna get feedback from Commerce.
Mhm.
And so kind of trying to mitigate going, well, you didn't include this or you didn't include that. Like, no, we did, and this is the comments that we received back, which
Gotcha.
is good.
okay,
Mhm.
Okay,
go for it.
okay, next one, 4.1.
Require
It's-
additional net zero greenhouse gas emission feature.
So, again, part of my issue is the require here, So I found another one that said develop or modify design standards for climate change impact reduction. So in essence, we would change change or modify our standards for designs such that it would reduce impact and not just require these different features on homes.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, so, and the policy was P06 apparently, according to Commerce. Develop or modify design standards for climate change impact reduction. It almost,
I feel like
frankly,
you're
it feels
kill-
like two sides of the same coin.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like you're killing the bird with the same stone, just
Yeah, that's
different.
just
I couldn't think of a different word. I couldn't think of the right analogy.
I'd rather us put requirements on ourselves as a city than to just require.
The wording of the one you used to replace the old one, I feel like is more holistic. It's like, we're looking at the entire structure rather than just like slapping some net zero on the side of a house,
Yeah.
you know?
Like if
Yeah.
you throw a Google Nest on the wall and then it's monitoring like your entire home and elevating different stuff, like,
Yeah.
I mean, we can require that, but at the same, like, it just doesn't seem
Yeah.
right to me. Anyway, all right, last one. 4.4, require all municipal buildings to be powered completely by renewable energy by 2045.
New municipal buildings?
All.
No, I meant like.
Would that be a change?
Like, what was your,
No, so I want to replace it with work with utility companies to improve safety and reliability of things. Does that not fit?
Not really. The goal is to ensure that buildings use renewable energy conservation and efficiency technologies and practices to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So we could just
Can I-
delete 4.4 and keep 4.3, which is retrofit municipal buildings for energy efficiency.
I would like.
2045, that gives a lot of time. I mean, if we're
Yeah.
I
gonna
think it's a
require
worthwhile
people
goal.
moving into town to do all these things, we have to lead by example to some degree. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually think I like this one, just because I think by 2045, I think that's a Washington state, they wanna have, set an example for new renewable energy. And we don't have a huge inventory of municipal buildings at this point, so
this
it might be
building in Public
achievable.
Works.
Yeah.
Well, and
quarry house.
it's all a visioning document.
Yes,
So Commerce isn't gonna come back to us and be like,
You
your
didn't
document
do it."
said you were gonna do this and you didn't.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and we change it in 10 years anyway.
yeah,
yeah, so.
just so funny.
We have another periodic update,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I would actually like to see us attach, by 2045 to policy 4.3 as well.
Yeah,
You got it.
Because again, I feel like leading by example, still visionary. If we come into a great deal of money, we can look at our comprehensive plan, see
Mhm.
what we put as priorities, and if we're broke, then we don't look at the document at all.
Yeah, that's true.
well, and I think 20 years is enough time for us to potentially capitalize on some grants or opportunities. Like the
Yes.
Department of Commerce itself had a solar grants, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
DES has energy savings program that you can take advantage of and other things. I think it's a good goal, even if we might not make it. I think it's a good goal.
I'm just thinking of the different things that I've heard about power grids and generation and stuff and
Sure.
going, I think that's a little bit optimistic, but,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna push back too hard on that one if that's the one that we want to keep, so.
I think remembering that it's a visioning document, and if we get to that point, it's really meant to guide, right? And so the city will go, okay, actually, like, we can go after these grants, or we can't go after these grants, or whatever, right? So as to your guys' point, if there's no money to do it, then there's no money to do it. If we get 10 years down the line, we're like, actually, that didn't make any sense, we can take it out at that time and update it to whatever new regulation there will be in that effect at that time. But
For some grants, we have to have it in the comp plan to be eligible for it, right? So there's no harm in keeping it in there.
It's better to
Yeah.
have it in than not.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had a crystal ball to see which grants
I
that
know, really.
we could get if we had certain things in our comprehensive
sure.
plan, because I would find a way to include as many things as I could to be able to be eligible for those grants, but, just right now, as far as planning goes, and as far as, something that people could look at and see where's Tenino's head at,
Mhm.
those were the big ones for me.
Cool.
I do have just one that I am trying to add it everywhere because I feel like at some point, if we say it enough times, it's gonna freaking happen. But I think in goal 7, it kind of fits with ensure protection, restoration.
Seven?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I would like to see some sort of language about reducing flooding on our roadways. There are several places in Tenino that flood onto the road and have large puddles for a large portion of the year. Obviously that's not good for our roads, it's not good for our cars, but it's also very much not good for our streams or aquifers, as all of the oils of the road and the oils of your car
Mhm.
are now in that puddle of water. There's one corner that I think of every single time I think of flooding, and I just want that corner to not flood. It's flooded for,
By the park?
no, over by the
Oh.
Black Bear.
It's funny that we all had different ones.
Yep.
That's making your point for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if we're gonna, I think we included some discussions about it in some of the capital facilities conversations
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
transportation facilities, but I think, again, this is a great opportunity. If it's in there, we can leverage hopefully some sort of grant dollars, even transportation, if we're like, oh yeah, this is hurting our streams.
Yeah, we're pretty new to stormwater regulations in Tenino.
Yeah.
I know it's in another part of the comp plan, but do we have anything about EV charging stations in the climate part?
I don't know. off the top of my head.
Cause that might be a smaller win for new development, it's just saying you need to integrate an
We
EV
already
charging.
have to though.
Okay, good, well, there you go.
Yeah, there's
Do they?
there's a RCW and WAC.
Yeah.
That requires that new commercial developments, depending on their size and what they're for, they have to provide and put in the infrastructure, and there's certain levels.
Gotcha.
For EV.
Yeah, so it's already required that
Okay.
they do that.
I think there's actually some in the ag park.
Yeah,
Oh,
there are.
really? Oh, yeah, I saw that.
There's a lot of grants going around for
Yeah.
Are they
EV
putting them
charging
in
stations.
behind the sandstone too? There's some
I
kind of
think they did.
electrical stuff going on there.
Yeah, I think they're putting in either 2 or 4.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now all we need is a hotel.
That would be great.
Valerie's got some ideas for a hotel.
I got
Alright.
hotel ideas, I'm not gonna do it, cause I got my own
I-
great job, but man,
I keep talking to people
I
about
have
it, and I'm like,
too.
yeah, this would be so awesome,
Yeah.
and like, why are you doing it? I'm like, I can't.
yeah.
I don't know how.
Yeah, right,
How
exactly.
about this? Evaluate and incorporate road elevation improvements in flood-prone areas as a means to maintain transportation access, reduce roadway inundation, and minimize pollutant washback into surface waters during flood events.
Amazing.
pretty good.
That was great, yeah.
This is why you're paid the big bucks.
That also technically could
That's
be
what
part
I'm
of the
waiting for, dude,
emergency.
you were talking.
You're good.
What washback, I would use runoff, right?
Okay.
But doesn't runoff just always run off roads because it rains out around here?
It
like
does, but. I
9
mean,
months out of the year.
9. It's supposed to rain tomorrow.
I know. I'm
Really?
looking forward to
Yeah.
it.
It was supposed
The
to be
lucky
like
rainier.
70s today, I was way hotter, so.
Yeah.
That's Washington. Okay, you wanted not washback, you wanted runoff, right?
Yeah.
Unless washback is a term, I've never heard that term before.
Yeah, me neither.
But I know what you mean, but I've just
Yeah.
never heard it.
Well, washback is just thinking about how the stream would go over or like kind of go on the road and then be washed off. Whereas the runoff is if it's raining, then it will be washed into the stream.
I see what you're saying.
Can you read that little last part again?
Yes, 1 second.
I still think runoff would apply.
Evaluate and incorporate road elevation improvements in flood-prone areas as a means to maintain transportation access, reduce roadway inundation, and minimize pollutant runoff into surface waters during flood events.
That makes sense to me.
I like
Especially with
it.
the word pollutant, it's like, yeah, the stuff,
Yeah, they'll get the idea.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It is crazy how much it happens here.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
There's
Flooding?
so many
Yeah,
spots.
well, just like sitting water, standing water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
yeah. And like part of that's just Washington, but I think we can also do better.
Yeah, just comparing it to like the closer you get into town, or even other South County towns, I feel like have it done better somehow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Okay. I think that's everything I got.
The only other thing I could think of is instead of just road elevation, say elevation or drainage improvements,
That would work too.
in
That's
case
good.
elevation isn't an option.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good, yeah. Also, that ties into like the sidewalk and walkways stuff too, because I think
Yeah.
when that type of work happens is often when, like sewers and stormwater stuff is happening, so.
Mm-hmm.
Any other?
I don't think so. Do we want to throw something in there about getting a purple pipe in?
Oh, yeah.
Purple pipe? Oh, for the,
Oh, that was at city council last night, you were talking about purple pipe, about how, Troy really wants to get purple pipe into the city, and, there's a section of the, I think on the bridge, wants to try to get purple pipe across it.
there's a
From
lot
the-
of agricultural things that could happen at the ag park that could use purple water. That's super
Yeah.
smart.
What is this?
Reclaimed water.
Just like, like
Oh.
Olympia, it comes out of their processing facility and they pump it back for irrigation purposes and they kind of,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
in the purple pipe, that's why they call it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
class A,
non-potable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't, you're not supposed to drink it.
yeah.
They say you can.
You
but-
could.
You could,
Lots trying that.
just don't want to.
Yeah.
So it's like gray water,
Yes.
okay.
But
It's
cleaner.
after the
It's been
process.
treated
It's
too.
been
It's been
treated
treated.
ultraviolet,
I,
like
see.
everything.
Yeah.
It's what comes out of the waste treatment plant.
Yeah.
It's all
Okay.
clean and it can go back into
Yeah.
nature. You probably wouldn't wanna drink
They
it.
just they just infiltrate it out there right now, so it's just kinda going into the ground.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
could bring it back up. There's other reasons to do it too, because it kind of recharges the aquifer a bit up here when we have, cause, when we were on septic, then all the water that everybody used went into the ground right where their house is and went down into the aquifer, but then when we went on the sewer, we transported all that water out there, outside of the city,
Yeah,
so all that
downstream.
recharge was gone essentially at that point, but.
Yeah.
Is there, I'm sorry, this is such a stupid question, but is there a way to track the depth of the aquifer?
I mean, there are groundwater wells. It's like, it's
Yeah.
around 13 feet,
But
around
like in
town.
terms of like in real time, like at the
Yeah.
end of summer, is the capacity
I think the city
monitored?
maybe monitors some wells, or they used to.
I
Bef-
don't know, I know that the streams are monitored pretty regularly, and that stuff's pretty easy.
Yeah.
I don't know if the groundwater is.
They probably
monitored.
check the groundwater levels in the well house over there for
Okay.
middle school, I would assume, but I don't actually know.
So, the whole well topic and like capacity for water and all of that, I know one of the council members brings it up all the time, and I'm curious about it too, because like, I don't know, groundwater and stuff like that is kinda cool to a certain extent, like.
Mhm.
It's
we
also
all-
like.
We all need it, and.
It's like a serious thing, like
Yeah.
Water rights.
our well dried up 2 summers ago,
Ooh, no.
for like a month. We had to like ship in water.
Mhm.
It was we moved there like 2 years before, and it was the first time we'd ever experienced anything like that. It was very scary.
Mhm.
But there's no way for us to monitor like how much water we have at any given point in real time. We had a lot of experts come talk to us about like, should we drill deeper, is what's going on, all this stuff. But anyway, it's just, I'm your guys' water neighbor,
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
close
It's the same
by.
watershed.
Yeah.
So,
You're upstream probably over in Churchill?
yeah, I think we technically go We feed into the Chehalis eventually. I'm not sure how we get
We
there.
do too.
Okay.
That's Scatter Creek. That Cozy
Okay.
Valley drains into Scatter Creek.
Okay.
You guys are like the top of the watershed almost.
Yeah, yeah.
basically.
Scanner Creek does have a monitor, but it doesn't look like they have any data right now.
There's probably not very much water in it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I haven't seen any historical data, but I just peeked, so.
We
But
s-
USGS has a monitor.
Yeah.
We started doing catchment for our garden, which we think the garden was the big draw off that was, in our particular case, what was causing it, but
Yeah.
definitely put a scare into me. In my work, I go out and do inspections throughout the county, and that summer,
Yeah.
there were so many people who had the same experience we had, just randomly, like, all throughout the county, so,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's
It's
gonna be
definitely a concern.
an ongoing issue going
Yeah.
forward for a lot of people.
I feel like in the other part of the plan, it mentions water rights and kind of like in regards to the growth, projected growth for town and how much water we have cooking capacity for. But I'm not sure where that information came from or if we can get it updated over
Public
time.
Works Department.
We
Yeah.
just had a water study,
Oh,
I
okay.
think.
Yeah.
I think we
Or
just
they
paid
did-
for a water study.
Or they updated the equipment, I
They
think.
found a bunch of leaks too
Oh.
and repaired
Yeah.
leaks
Yeah.
that,
Well, I thought this was specifically
That's
about
last year.
capacity
Yeah.
that they did a study on.
They have to know their capacity. The city has to know their capacity because we can't authorize the building of, additional
Yeah.
structures without knowing how much water is available.
Yeah.
so we can't
Yeah.
like blow past we have an allotted water right. And
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
we can't
yeah.
like blow past that with development and
Mhm.
assume that we will get those water rights or something, we wouldn't be able to do it, right?
Mhm.
You can't even build.
Good luck getting a water right.
Yeah,
but-
one of the city council members brought it up yesterday because
Yeah.
he was concerned with the amount of water supply, and was asking me about it, and I said, well, I don't know, but because the Public Works Department is what, but essentially like trying to convey that this is a visioning document, and while OFM, the Office of Financial Management, puts out, population, projections, doesn't mean, like, and we have to kind of adhere to them, kind of. It doesn't mean that we will actually be able to get there. The whole point being that Public Works has to think about that and try to get it to the point where we can accommodate the 600 plus houses by 2045.
Mhm.
And so that's something that the city has to think about because you're right, we cannot, we cannot permit structures without water being available.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing, so, just, it is,
Interesting.
yeah. When I got into planning, I wasn't into infrastructure at all, and now I'm going for a master's in infrastructure.
Oh, wow.
So,
Nice.
because it's all integrated, it's all, you have to think about it all.
So should we put something about purple pipe in this climate chapter or?
I mean, I would be surprised if Troy didn't want something in there. So we can, absolutely.
I think we should. I
I
think
think it's worth prioritizing.
one drought is one of the reasons for having the chapter in the first place. I
What
mean,
goal should we put that under then?
And also replenishing the aquifer, if it's true that the water that gets pumped out there doesn't actually go back into.
it doesn't come back here.
I mean-
It goes downstream.
It would be better if it was replenishing our water source.
I feel like 7,
Yeah, I think 7, RE7 is probably the best option.
Okay.
it's like 7 adjacent. I don't know if it's exactly fits, but
I'll write something up and see where to put it. But we'll put it in 7 for right now. And then, one here. Okay.
Could be health and well-being too.
So, encourage and facilitate the use of reclaimed water or pipe systems for non-technical applications, including landscape irrigation, industrial processes, and dust control where feasible
Couldn't
and
it-
cost effective.
Couldn't it be for emergencies too, like fire hydrants?
Mm-hmm.
That's like a dedicated system, isn't it? Or is that connected to the rest of the water
I
system?
think it's connected to the rest of the water system. I I think
Yeah,
some
that's-
jurisdictions do have them separate, but I think Tenino's is,
Well, that would be a good use for purple pipe if that's
Mhm.
possible. I don't know if that's possible. but-
okay.
Mm-hmm.
What about capacity though? Would there be enough capacity in the event of a significant fire?
I mean, if we actually brought it back, maybe at some point, there, I don't know.
There have to be like tanks and stuff.
Somewhere.
Yeah, there would have to be a water tower, that's what I was thinking, at some point, maybe next to the other one, purple water tower, I'm not really sure, but.
That'd be a sight.
A purple tower.
Mm-hmm.
Could put a penguin on it, Parkside. I don't know. I'm just thinking of
It's true.
alliteration.
Encourage and facilitate the use of reclaimed water, purple pipe, for non-potable applications, which would include, so I don't think we need to add anything specific,
Yeah.
unless you want to.
No, I think it's good to keep it open, cause I'm sure there's a lot of good uses for it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Just because I'm pro helping rural transit, potentially in goal RE2, reduce greenhouse gas emissions in rural areas. Potentially explore expansion and education on multimodal,
Multimodal.
multimodal transportation options.
Okay.
I like it.
Explore, expansion, on local, multimodal options and opportunities, including local trails and routes.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Has there ever been like a park and ride from Tenino to Olympia?
I think you have to call the RT, right?
Yeah, there's the RT bus, but it's like ad hoc, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's ad hoc.
I would say
That would
that
be
a lot of
nice.
people use Dave's as a parking ride. But
Dave's?
yeah.
The grocery store. That's what it used to
Oh,
be
yeah,
called.
sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The
Until
Market
how long
Fresh.
he's lived in
I'm not
Tenino.
from here for a long time.
Yeah.
I still call it Dave's too.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you would know that.
Yeah, it hasn't been Dave's for 10 plus years.
I love that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think that's everything for me.
And if you guys come up with anything else, you're like, oh, actually, email me.
Okay, I'm working my way through reading it, so I might just
Yeah.
send you comments.
Then electronic is great,
Okay.
very helpful, so, the next time you see me, we will be having a public hearing to move it forward, so.
Oh, that's gonna
all-
be next month?
Yeah,
Alright.
so all, comments and recommendations need to be in for that preferably within the next 2 weeks.
Are you gonna send us the draft before
I will send
the
you
day of? Excellent.
I plan on, giving it out, next week.
Okay, sweet.
So, I just spoke with my marketing staff today, regarding, just hoping the mayor would be here because, but I could also talk to you guys about it. There's the option of having a Word version or an InDesign version. And the InDesign version is just like, almost like a magazine-esque, it's just kind of prettier, but it does take more time to put together, and potentially there's a giant difference in the amount of money that time, eats. And so, I just wanted to know what your guys' thoughts were, like, do you care if it's a Word version?
It's just
of
an
a
aesthetic,
PDF?
Mm-hmm.
Or-
difference.
Yeah, it's just an aesthetic difference. The document itself will have all the same things, but it's just, yeah, aesthetic.
So, yeah. I don't see any reason to personally spend a lot of money making it look like a magazine, like a consumer confidence report for water quality or something.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Balloons and people dancing around the park or something.
I think as long as the message and the goal gets across, then it doesn't matter necessarily how it
It'll still
looks.
look nice, it
Yeah.
just won't look as like magazine-esque.
Yeah,
Um,
it'll look like a work in progress.
no, I mean, I'll try to make sure it.
Well, sorry, I meant like, sorry, no, I meant more like, it looks like there's opportunity to adjust it, where I think potentially if it looks like a magazine, then people are like, oh, it's already done, why am I
Yeah,
commenting?
yeah, I can see that. Yeah, essentially. So it'll look just not quite as polished, but still pictures and pretty graphs and all that stuff. All the content will be the exact same,
Mhm.
so,
I think I'm okay with the Word version.
okay.
How would you guys do that? Do you have time to do the pretty version? Would that be like an AI generated?
No, it's not
Graphics or
AI generated. We have our marketing staff actually build the templates themselves, and so
Okay.
we have a template that was built for Tenino's housing action plan.
Okay.
And so we would be overhauling that, but I asked the marketing staff how long that would take them, and they said 22 hours. And billable rates are like roughly, I think, 140 for marketing staff, and so I was like, oh, that's a lot, that's a lot of money. So she gave me the option, she's like, okay, well, you could just leave it in Word and just like, I
Since
can
we're
do
just
it.
putting our budget back together again this year,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
probably that would
Yeah.
be
Well, it
weird.
comes out of the grant, but,
But still.
yeah. Well, I guess I have a question to clarify. Are they gonna have to make it look like a magazine when it's all done?
No.
Okay.
It
Look,
doesn't.
I'm just curious
You
if
can
like we're,
literally have it all one font and in Comic Sans, Commerce doesn't care, it's really the aesthetic of whatever the city wants.
Just
So,
no wing
Well, I
bats.
think-
yeah.
Is it-
Bats,
Is
whatever
it
it's
easier for city staff to have a nice comprehensive plan for when they're like advocating or submitting for grants? Or could they take the material, rehash it into something
I've
nice
never known
and
agency
context
to care.
dependent,
Control F.
right?
You
Yeah,
would want it to look like you
exactly.
need money though, so. Handwritten
That's
one
fair.
stapled
Yeah.
on the side.
I feel like if it's gonna be a nice document, it can be a Word document, and if anything, that makes the material more easy to kind of remove and reformat for staff.
Yeah, and they'll get a Word version, but they'll also get a PDF version.
Yeah.
The real difference is just what I can do in Word versus what I can do in InDesign, which
Yeah.
I can do a lot more pretty things in InDesign than I can in Word, but I can still format it to look really nice
Yeah,
in Word. So
I think
it's
that's
just
fair.
I don't have to also figure out InDesign.
yeah,
I think you should ask Dave.
yeah.
I will. I'm gonna send them an email.
For what it's worth, I vote Word.
Yeah.
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 I can let them know and be like, planning commission's at Word, which is fine, so,
Yeah.
okay.
I have a question on the document that we're gonna get.
Mhm.
Is our document going to look like a medium between all of the edits and none of the edits? Is that possible?
Oh, you wanna see things that were crossed out or removed?
Yeah,
Or
like,
track change.
Oh.
I don't necessarily need to track change to the extent of like a comma moved here, a comma moved there, or this section moved over here.
I can send out two, one with comments, one clean version. We typically do that.
Okay.
Where what I do is track changes is kind of a pain in the butt
Yeah.
to work with when you have 20 copies of the document. And so what I typically do is I will put comments as to, okay, this wasn't existing.
Gotcha.
Like this was new and this is why we added it. Or like if like it needs a comment, sometimes things just don't need a comment. But like that, I can do that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, cool. I can
Yep.
absolutely do that.
Mhm.
Perfection.
What's the next thing on the agenda?
I think that's it.
Mayor's
Yeah.
not here.
Valerie
not
needs her
here.
oath of office.
I do, but the mayor's not here.
Yeah, his name's on it, so I can't do it.
We'll wait till next time.
Huh?
I wonder if he's helping with the fire. I don't know.
Ah.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
We had
He's
talked
retired.
about
He's
it.
retired officially.
As far as I knew, he was coming and asked me yesterday, asked me today.
He was at, see you
Yeah.
tomorrow.
It's probably, maybe
I don't
it's
know what
related
happens
to the
from 3:30
fire.
to now,
Ah.
honestly.
It's fine. I'll be here next month.
Yeah, we just need.
I know, but like, even as mayor, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
As long as you're sworn in before we vote.
Yes.
Or just,
Yeah.
cause he's got
Valerie,
the
she
high
can come
school
in the
meetings
office.
and stuff.
I can swear in between,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
Okay.
If the mayor's in the
I'll
office.
keep this,
Yeah.
and then I'll just walk it in, we can coordinate.
And I can keep it if you like, I usually keep it at the
Yeah.
planning packet, and then whenever, you
No, I've got it.
Like 2 times so that you can see it.
I've seen it too
Yeah,
much.
I know.
I've seen too much.
Perfect.
No problem.
I'm here the day before. Oh, hey, I won't be until after.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
Okay.
yeah, that definitely.
Sorry, quick question.
Yes.
We also have this checklist. Is there anything that you needed to talk about, or this is just the checklist?
It was just for you guys.
Okay. Perfection.
All right, if anybody has any announcements or comments, anything more? Okay, meeting
Oh,
adjourned.
wait, sorry. You said next meeting is the public hearing.
Yes.
Okay, next meeting, public hearing.
September.
Everyone,
Yeah, make sure
Correction.
we're
What
here,
date
all
is-
here,
what date is
or,
that?
you know, at least, if you can be.
Yeah.
Pretty important.
Second Wednesday is the 10th of September.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm out of town.
We just need the majority.
Yeah. we
I'll
just
be
need a
here.
quorum.
Although I
We
think
can
that's,
also,
I'll make sure I tell
we
everybody
can
that
all,
you're
like,
running.
set up a Zoom or
No.
whatever.
I was gonna say.
He's on vacation.
Yeah.
I'm free the 17th. Are you back on the 17th?
Yeah.
We can
Do
move
we just
it.
wanna postpone a week?
to the
Makes no
17th
difference to
Yeah.
me
of
right now.
September.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's fine, but let me look really quick.
Okay, let me double check that that works for me.
17th would be better for me. I could probably do both, but
I think it works for me, cause I think the next week I'm in Phoenix, so, and actually at a concert that night, so.
Fun.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You said
No,
not
it
coming.
takes priority.
Okay,
Um,
17th, I'm in.
Okay, so that needs to be voted on and.
Okay.
Approved, and then we need to also, Jessica, will need to, put it on the city website and notice it.
Okay.
Yeah, when we do the notice, make sure we put the right date.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yes.
September 17th.
Okay,
Okay.
make a motion.
I move, wait, the 17th? I think
Yep.
that, okay, perfection. Okay, I move to reschedule the September 10th Planning Commission meeting to September 17th. And this will also be the public hearing on the comprehensive plan.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Nice. Unless there's something else?
No.
Meeting adjourned.